What is going on, everybody? Alongside me, as always, is my boy, Noah Borntrager. Obviously, in the Merry Christmas spirit, but you see the baseball sweater on. I'm Will Hunt, and you're tuning into another episode of the Down South Sports Podcast. Noah, what is going on?
Not much, man. We wrapped up baseball practice, so I'm good. Don't have to deal with a cold for a couple weeks here. So
how's the boys looking going into the Christmas break here?
We will see.
Oh, we will see.
It's cold. It's cold.
Yeah,
right
keeping
now,
it close to the vest here.
Hey,
Are we going to be a more defensive minded team? We're going to have some power at the plate, or what are we looking like?
I think the play is going to look good, but
yeah,
I'm the pitching guy, so I'm
that's
excited
right.
about my arms.
Yeah,
I'm
that's right.
About the,
got some lively arms out there.
Yeah, a couple arms for sure.
I
think about 6 committed to go to college next year. So
nice, heck yeah, awesome,
sure.
Awesome. That's what I'm talking about. All right, well, we're going to get right into it, folks. We're going to get into a little Hurricanes hockey. You know we love to talk about our boys over there at Lenovo Center. And came out with a shutout the other night against the Islanders at home. I believe that the Stahl, Martinook, and Carrier line dominated yet again. You look at the stats here. Stahl with an assist, Martinook with an assist, and William Carrier, again, leading the team with a game-high 5 hits. Everyone else, the next highest is 2. So my man is still laying the lumber. I love the way that guy plays, man. I love it. Svetch, not an empty net goal. Power play goal, which when you watch it, he fanned on it originally. He originally fanned on the puck, and I saw it, and then you see the Islander go for the poke check, and he missed it because he fanned on it, and then he put it in, thankfully. But, yeah, man, good game all around. Your boy Aho, 2-point game. Goal and an assist. Tyson Jost with a highlight reel goal, batted it out of midair. That was a nice one, getting some depth scoring. And already mentioned Marty and Svetch. So I think the real star of the game was Cooch. Cooch with the 32-save shutout. You pulled up, or you sent me the other day, believe it was it career shutouts you sent me a screenshot of? Is that what it was?
Since he entered the league, he has 9, or since he got the starter role a little bit more, he has 9 shutouts, which is, I think, 4th since that time. So
here we go right here.
Pretty good goalies on that list.
Yeah, the only goalies in front of him are Connor Hellebuck, Ilya Sorokin, and Jake Ottinger.
And, I mean, you're talking that's anytime you mention those 3 guys, you're saying elite goalie.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. He looked really good the other night. He definitely played within himself, which was good. He did have that one aggressive play, but again, that's in his game. If he uses it at the correct times, he is very.
If I'm thinking about the same play. So,
yes, absolutely, absolutely. Keep the momentum going. Still would like to see a little more from Aho. I know he had a goal and an assist, and he has been looking good as of late, but we need that guy to turn it on.
I mean, if I were to sit here and tell you that Martinook has 8 and Aho's 9 in mid-December, you look at me crazy a couple months ago. But here we are. So I 100% agree, dude. Aho has looked better, and we have talked about this before. He always turns it up around this time of year. Right?
He does.
And then he starts going. So hopefully this is kind of more of a as Tripp would say, a lift-off game for him with a multi-point game. But I don't know, man. Like I still need to see more from him as an overall leader, if that's going to be the guy.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've kind of made him the guy. So, but Tyson Jost, man, I think he fits into our system, I think. And he's fit in well. I mean, dude's only 26.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of guys forget about, he's played, I think, 4 to 5 different teams now, but he's 26 years old. He's played with some of the really good teams, played with Colorado and McKinnon. I mean, he played right beside McKinnon. So he has the ability to slot in there just fine. So
I mean, he was a former 10th overall pick by Colorado in 16. So you're talking about a guy that has the skill set. And 26, getting an opportunity to play with Carolina. Obviously, he's playing because of injuries. He would be in Chicago, like you just mentioned, the Drury injury. But being able to have guys that can come up when you have those injuries and contribute is massive, massive. And I think Tulsky did a really good job with the signings this year, and the depth signings mainly, guys that fit really well with Rod's system. when you look at a Tyson Jost, you look at a Eric Robinson,
Yes.
you look at a Will Carrier. Robinson hasn't been contributing on the score sheet, but when you watch him play, he's doing what he was signed to do. And he is playing to his, just like we say with Cooch, play within yourself, play the game that you were brought here to be played. You don't have to be a superstar. You need to play to your role. And if every player on this team plays to what their role should be, sky's the limit. But it's just getting everyone on the same page.
Yeah, I mean, Eric Robinson, I don't think anybody expected the offensive numbers he's put up. So obviously he slowed down a little bit, and that's fine because he's continued to play, like you said, his role, the reason he was brought in. So I'm a fan of Robinson for sure in his game.
Yeah.
I think he fits in well, and I think, like you said, we have those pieces that, they can play Rod's game. It's not the soft guys. But it's interesting to see, and hopefully Aho starts to pick it up and start to be that guy. I mean, Jordan Stahl, like, every year I'm like, oh, is this going to be it? And it's just, he plays Rod's system to a T.
Yeah,
he
I know.
is Carolina Hurricane hockey. Like, if you can embody a player, and I don't know. There's only so many more years in that guy, and, like, it's going to be real tough whenever that day comes to replace that kind of production and that presence in the locker room, too. Because I don't think Aho's that. I mean, we're looking at assistant captain, whoever's going to be behind him.
Well, let's be honest. So, because I think Stahl's contract's up after this year, right?
Yeah.
So,
we have a lot.
It's not as bad as this past year. It's definitely not as bad. But we do have a couple key guys. But looking hypothetically, after next year, let's say Stahl doesn't re-sign. Let's say he does a 1-year deal with some other team. He's trying to chase the cup with somebody else. We don't want to re-sign him, or he's wanting too much money. Who would slot in there as the next Hurricanes captain?
I mean,
Slavin?
right now, I would hope.
Yeah.
I think that's more of the embodiment of a Hurricane is him.
Yeah.
Than Aho right now. So.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you look at the team, like you said, Stahl definitely embodies Rod's system, and Rod always talks about playing Hurricane hockey and what it means to be a Hurricane. I think Slavin's right up there with Stahl. I don't think there's any, if not more. I mean, that dude, when you hear, so we'll go into this, wasn't on local network the other night. It was on ESPN. And boy, do we know, if y'all listen to the broadcast, whether it's Trip Tracy and Maniscalco versus ESPN just does not like them small market teams, man.
No.
They just do not care.
They're not educated. That's
my
my take on it, is they are not educated. They're not watching the teams that they're announcing, and then they hop in a booth and they try to call a game, and then you see it's an absolutely atrocious product.
We did get lucky with Kevin Weeks calling the game.
I know.
Former Hurricanes legend.
Yeah. But
So
Coach Cross sucks. So,
Yes.
I mean, the main
Horrible.
guy there that's talking the whole freaking time, he's not educated enough to call a game, and I'll stand on that. For any team, not just the Hurricanes, those small market teams, like you said.
They don't.
You listen to him, and he just sounds ignorant at times.
And I think that's just prototypical ESPN. I mean, that's the same way when you watch any sport with them. But that's just kind of what you have to deal with. So it was nice to listen to Kevin Weeks call a game and be able to give our team flowers and our guys flowers where it was deserved. But going back to Slavin, when you just hear other players and other teams, coaches around the league talk about him whenever they are playing him, the dude, we discussed this in a podcast a while ago. I wish there was a trophy, an award for the best offensive defenseman, Norris, and the best defensive defenseman, whoever the hell you want to name that after, because Jacob Slavin could have won that award 4 or 5 times now in his career. He plays against the best teams players every single night for 82 games a year. He never gets hurt. He's always solid. He never makes a mistake. Well, he rarely makes a mistake. Everyone makes a mistake, but he rarely messes up. And he's just a joy to watch, dude. When you're watching the game and you see Slavin on the ice, you don't have to worry about his side of the ice. You don't. Now you have to worry about Burns' side of the ice, but you just know it's covered. It's great. It's great to watch. We were talking about this before the podcast. You were talking about Luke Kuechly. Whenever he was playing for the Panthers, dude, I never had to worry on defense that we were going to be out of position. I always knew the middle of the field was covered, and I always knew the running game was covered. It's such a luxury to have somebody like that. It really is, and he is absolutely a Hurricane. I think if Stahl's not there next year, he's the captain. No doubt about it in my mind. So we'll see. Lots still to go on. We still have a ton of this year remaining. So we'll see what happens. It was funny. We were watching the game and listened to the post-game interview with Martinuk, and you texted me and you said, did you hear what Martinuk said about Coach Chetkov? How, might have, what did he say again? You might have to do what to keep him in the crease?
Shot collar.
Yeah,
Put a
shot collar
on him to keep him in the paint.
Yeah, so
that's Martinuk for you.
Hey, love it. Again, he just plays within himself.
Yeah.
He's got the skills to do it, and we've got the team in front of him. So, again, we're nitpicking. It was a dominant game. The Islanders are not a top-tier team, but for some reason, they always play good in Lenovo whenever they do come here. But we kept them off the scoreboard, kept the Barzels, the Horvats, the Nelsons, all those guys in check, and it was really good to see.
All those guys are having a tough year, though.
They are.
I mean, Barzal just came back from injury, so
they
we'll
are.
talk about that. But the other names that you just said, Anders Lee is about the only bright spot on that team.
Yeah. But we took care of business. That's all that mattered. Got a tough 4-game road trip coming up at Washington, at the Rangers, at Nashville, and then a home and home with the Devils. So you're looking at a pretty tough schedule there.
We just came off a soft stretch in my eyes, so.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
A 4-game homestand consisting of San Jose, Ottawa, Columbus, and New York. So it's only right that we end up with that. Hopefully.
That little gauntlet here.
Yes. Would love to come out 3 out of 4, but, 4 out of 8 points in that stretch I think is a big win. Would love to see the first 2 against conference opponents, divisional opponents, get the dub, but we'll see. Washington's hot right now, dude. They're the surprise team of the year so far for me, and they still have been rolling even though Ovi's been hurt.
Yep.
So we'll see. Been really, really good so far, but love them boys. Want them boys to keep rolling, baby. Keep climbing the ladder.
That's right.
You know what we do on this podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We climb ladders. You know who doesn't climb ladders?
Carolina basketball.
Okay, yeah, Carolina basketball, UNC Chapel Hill. I was watching the game the other night against Florida. Good team. 10-0, number 7 in the country, playing the Jumpman Invitational at Spectrum Center, where the Hornets play in Charlotte. And we started the first half just like about every game we've started this year and came out flat. I think we were 0 for 9 or 0 for 10 from 3 to start the game. Got down 1 point, I think it was 23 points, and started the second half on an absolute tear. Hubert Davis, before going into half, was basically calling out the team, challenging their toughness, physicality. They came out, got the lead, and then it was basically back and forth the whole second half till about a minute and a half left. I know R.J. Davis, he got open for a 3 and clanked it off the back rim, and Florida goes down, gets a tough bucket, free throws, and it's over 90-84. But this is a troubling stat, dude. Listen to this. Looking at the box score. You know who the leading rebounder was for Carolina that night?
I do, but you take the cake here.
R.J. Davis.
Yeah.
8 rebounds. You know who the second leading rebounder was that night?
I'm going to roll the dice to say another guard.
Yeah, Seth Trimble with 7. The starting center for Carolina, Vin Allen Lubin, had 4. 1 offensive rebound, 3 defensive rebounds. And Jalen Washington off the bench had 3 rebounds. That right there, let's look at Florida. 10 rebounds for their starting forward, 9 rebounds starting center, the guards 6, 6, 5. That right there is not Carolina basketball, and that right there does not win games. And it's not just the coaching. It's both. It's a mixture of both. It's not just Hubert and the coaching staff. It is on the players as well. But when I watch like out of bounds plays, and you're coming off a TV timeout or you're coming off a regular timeout, whatever it is, and you're inbounding the ball, you should have 5 to 10 plays that all right, these have a pretty good success chance of working, or at least 3 that, hey, we're going to be able to get somebody open and get a bucket here. There were multiple times, not just in this past game, but games throughout the season, that they just don't look like they know what they're doing. They don't look like they know what they're doing from a coaching side. There's no physicality. They're, in my opinion, they're soft. Not the guards, the front court. Because you watch R.J. Davis and Seth Trimble, those dudes were going up against the Florida Bigs, ripping the ball out of their hands, diving for loose balls, all of that. There's just no physicality. And it's so frustrating to watch as a Carolina fan and as just a college basketball fan to see a team just get out hustled, out physical, whatever you want to call it, on a nightly basis, especially when you're in Charlotte. 90% of the crowd is in Carolina blue. It's essentially a home game. I understand Florida's a great team. They're a phenomenal team. The SEC this year is stout. They're stacked. But it's just tough to watch, man.
Yeah, I mean, you've talked about this. You watch way more Carolina basketball than I do, but you've talked about this before, that they don't have the bigs. They don't have what Carolina basketball has kind of been known for, right? So, I mean, even if you are a stretch four and your job is to make threes, you also have to go grab some boards. So, I mean, rebounding the basketball is essential to win a game. You have to get the ball to score, and then it's that simple, right? So, I mean, R.J. Davis is absolutely, I mean, he carried the team. Yeah. I know still to a loss, but how do you feel about Cadeau? Is it time to kind of take some playing time away from him, or what are we thinking?
So he came in last year. He reclassed. He came in at 17 years old, number one point guard in the class, and obviously had an up and down year. Your starting point guard for Carolina, still number one seed. Again, he was not the only player on that team, but I thought he played good last year. And the start of the year and in the exhibition games looked really good. Improved the three-point shot, worked really hard on it in the offseason with Marcus Page. You know, he was distributing the ball well, like he's been known as a passer, but I think that's been his worst aspect of his game this year. He's just so lackadaisical with the ball, and when he's making these passes, it just looks like he doesn't care. Like he's not anticipating the defense at all, and it's not like these guys are all world defenders. It's just regular players. And I know you have to push the ball up the court, but dude, have a presence of mind to know when the pass is there and when it's not. But even when they get over half court and you've got your guard here and your guard here and you're literally just swinging it, he just passes it and the damn defender is just right here and just takes the ball. He just looks so flustered. And I know I'm getting worked up. This was me the other night. You can ask Nicole. She was like, there's been a lot of F-bombs dropped during this game. In the last 3 minutes, I think I may have dropped about 50. But there's no one that can replace him. You don't have that backup point guard off the bench.
There's 10 assists. First of all, this is a troubling stat, too. 10 assists on the game. That's, I don't know, pretty low there. But 7 of the 10 assists were from him. So to your point.
Yeah. But I like to cancel that out, too, with turnovers. So that's really 3 assists.
Okay. I didn't see
four turnovers.
I mean, 7 of the 10 assists are from him, so.
Yeah, you don't have anybody else that
distribute.
Yeah, you don't have another distributor. I mean, there's no other true point guard on this team. R.J. Davis could run point, but you need him to score.
Yeah.
Seth Trimble theoretically could run point, but you need him to score and defend. So you don't have, in past years a Nate Britt to come off the bench and spell that point guard to be able to also carry the play the way it needs to be carried. The way this team has been, and you know what, let me get into this before I even forget. Ian Jackson is a baller. That man has all the talent in the world and is going to be on this team for 1 year. They need to let him run the offense. There was a stretch of 3 or 4 possessions in the road. They switched him on a big, and he made 3 or 4. He had one move. He crossed over, gave a little hesitation, went double clutch, looked like MJ in the air at the damn Jordan Invitational and put it in. He only put in 11 points, but all 11 of those points were highlight reel plays. All of them. And then all of a sudden, the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game, he basically gets shut out. He's on the court, but they just shut him out. They won't give him the ball. So you don't have any presence down low. You have to make shots. You have to make threes, which we're not doing. You have to distribute the ball well, which we're not doing. But you have him, Ian Jackson. You have Drake Powell, 2 really talented freshmen. It's time to let them be the best they can be and give them the ball more and run more plays for them. There's a reason you recruited them. the way this team is made up, you're not going to be successful unless you get performances from them each and every night. So you have to do that. But the makeup of this team, I see where Hubert was going with it. Again, you expected a Cade Tyson to come in and fill that stretch four role. That just hasn't happened. I'm not saying it won't, but it hasn't happened yet. And just the whole mentality of this team, man, it's not good. There's no backup to the point guard. There's no backup coming off the bench for post court or for front court players, and even the guys out there starting. There's nothing. So far, it's looking like an NIT year. It really is. And I know you put that in the title of the last podcast episode, but Roy Williams was at that game the other night. And they did not show Roy at all the entire first half. Didn't know he was there. Because I'm sure he looked pissed. They showed him when we went on the run at the start of the second half and got the lead, and he was, up clapping and everything. But I can just hear Roy over there going, "Dadgummit, Hubert, I gave you this job, and you're going to screw it to hell."
Hey, that's what happens when you're on ESPN. The ESPN likes you, too.
Yeah.
They treat you right.
That's right. But, man, again, I like Hubert. He's got to get it turned around. You got to put together a whole game. We can't rebound, and you can't make the shots when it matters. And that's what you have to do. I know that's fundamentals, and I'm basically being trivial, but that's basketball, and we're just not playing good basketball.
No, not Carolina basketball.
No. But you can't play Carolina basketball with this roster the way it is. You can't. Unfortunately, I just don't think Hubert did a great job of building the team out this year, and I'm not saying that he has a chance to do – not every coach can build out a team the exact way they want to every year, but this also ties back into the NIL and not being able to land some top guys. You can't just rely on brand. You can't just rely on your Carolina basketball. You got to put some money into it. And until they realize that, if they do what they did for football and football succeeds, basketball will then succeed as well. It will trickle down, and it will continue to get better as far as player talent goes. But player talent's only going to get you so far. You got to have coaching.
So you think Hubert's not a good coach? Or was he not a good recruiter this year?
I think Hubert is a good coach. I think scheme-wise, X's and O's, he lacks a little bit. He obviously has the passion for it. He loves the school. He loves the team. It's not an issue of willpower and want to and all that, but it's just, I don't know, man. Because so far this year, it's just been swing offense. It's just been motion offense the whole year. You're not, and motion offense to me is you're swinging the ball around and you're just doing screen and roll, pick and roll. But we don't have anybody that can roll. No one can roll and either distribute the ball after you receive it in the high post or score from the high post and get down low and put it in. So I don't know if he was expecting more out of the guys, and now he's having to coach on the fly and figure out something else to do with this team for the rest of the year. Because obviously, he was coach of the year last year. You had a good team last year, but you still had to do it. Coach of the year, he went to the national championship game in his first year. Obviously, he did inherit Roy Williams' team, but still have to get him there. Still have to do some coaching yourself to do it. But now it's up to him to right the ship. Because if you don't right the ship, this ain't Dayton. This ain't Mercer. This ain't Colgate. This is North Carolina basketball.
No, there's expectations.
There is expectations every single year.
Right now.
No,
I think you got to kind of go back to the drawing board, and I'm sure they have at Carolina with the results they've been getting. But you got to go back to the drawing board and get a whole new game plan from everything that I've seen. I haven't watched really a full game, but I've seen enough, and we've talked enough that we can't play pick and roll if there's nobody to roll, like you said. So guard heavy for sure as far as production. So yeah. I think you got to lean into that and figure out a way to get all those guards in the game. Like you said, let Ian Jackson cook a little bit more. I don't know. You got to let your dogs eat sometimes, and if they're on the bench, they can't. So.
Yeah. I think his original plan, and obviously I'm speaking for him, I think his original plan was he wanted to slow roll Ian Jackson and Drake Powell in.
Yeah, that's what the minutes are showing. Too.
Yes. I think he wanted to do that, but the problem is when you don't have the production from Jalen Washington and you don't have the production from Cade Tyson, that puts you in a pickle. Jalen Washington and Cade Tyson hadn't started since like the third game of the year, and Jalen Washington's been coming off the bench the last 3 or 4 games. So when you're counting on 2 guys to produce and they're not, then your whole game plan for the whole season is kind of, flipped upside down. But at the same time, you're the head coach of Carolina basketball. You got to come up with something. You got to fix it. You got to turn the tide. And if he can't, and this team doesn't make the tournament, there could be a lot of changes happening in the offseason. But we'll see. There's still a lot of time to turn it around, and if he does and you end up in, a really strong through ACC play and finish the season strong and make the tournament, I think he goes nowhere. But if they go at the pace they're going now, I don't see it ending well. But again, lot of season to go. You are about to get into ACC play, and the ACC is not a super strong conference this year. And I will say
they're strong enough to build that resume back up.
It is. But I say that in the aspect of like we should be able to win some games with the talent we have on the roster. And you do look at the losses we have, and they've all been against top 25 teams, really good teams, a couple top 10 teams. So it's not like we've lost to those bottom end teams. And hopefully playing these stronger opponents earlier in the season helps. And you can kind of rally around that and get a little rhythm going. And a lot of it just confidence. They don't look confident out there at all. It was like Bryce Young before my man got benched. No confidence, and now my man's out there slinging the rock. So just got to get it going. Just had to breathe there for a minute. I was getting a little worked up. Was thinking about the other night after we lost to Florida. I'm like, boy, if I could get Hubert Davis on this damn podcast right now. Oh, we'd have words, Hubert. We would have damn words, brother. But I rest my case. Let's move on. Let's move on to something else that's a little bit crazy. Carolina Panthers got a game this weekend. Obviously, Sunday at home to Arizona. It's the last home game of the year. Hopefully, the fans, send them out on a nice little dub. Fans watching at home, but wait, the fans can't watch at home, apparently, according to the national media, because we're not on local channel this Sunday.
Yeah, we got the boot.
So as you can see here, all of the RDU area, the Triangle, Greensboro, down here into Wilmington, and then on a little bit of the western side of the state, but that's more Tennessee, they're going to see the Philly-Washington game, and this area here and this area here are going to see the Panthers game. What do you think about that?
Why? First and foremost, why?
There's been worse seasons where we're still on TV. It's like it is your market, and you're not putting it on there.
Right. I mean, Charlotte still gets to see it, so, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me, and I'm not gonna buy an NFL ticket to watch that. So,
no.
I guess I'm gonna pass on that game. But
just come on over to the house. You can watch it here.
It's unfortunate though. I mean, like you just said, that is your market. But it does also go to show, and this is a whole other discussion of mine, that there's a lot of transplants here, and that tails into hockey more than anything for me. But Philadelphia game, right, is what we got booted for.
It's at home in Washington, so
Philadelphia.
Yeah, so you can see in this picture it is all in this area. So you've got Philly down into Maryland area, Washington, Virginia. I just don't know why they didn't cut it off at the state line.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
Like you said, that's the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, look at the state of Arizona.
Yeah,
they're completely Cardinals except for this just little teeny piece in the Northeast.
Yeah, no, I mean, makes zero sense. I know the Commanders are having a good year. That should be a good game. So I'm not taking anything away from that, but at the same time, like, dude, it's your market. Dominate your market, and I have a whole lot of thoughts with the ownership and management anyways, too. So I think Tepper is fumbling real bad right now. So I don't know, dude. That's a bad look. Bad look overall for the league and everything. And we've talked about it. The primetime games are not going to be fun, so I might just check out of the NFL this week.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you. But if you're looking at it from an NFL perspective, the entire NFL is a business, obviously. Everyone knows this. But for a business to succeed, you don't just need one team. Like, if it was just the Chiefs, obviously they would not succeed. You're not playing anybody, obviously. But you need every team to be shown to that fan base because the fans are what give you the money and what tune in and give you all of the support. And when you don't do that for even a small market team who's not having a good year like Carolina, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. There's no way to look around it. But that was kind of crazy seeing that yesterday that it wouldn't be on there. But let's cover a little bit of the game. Obviously, like I said, it's the last home game of the year. You got the Cardinals coming into town. Cardinals have had an up and down year. I think they're still in line. They possibly could get the division when I last looked. I could be speaking out of turn here, which has been known to happen. But here we go. So the Cardinals are 7-7. So they're only 2 games back, or they're 1 game back. The top of the NFC West is the Rams at 8-6. So they're still fighting for something. They're going to come in here, and I think they're going to, try and play their best ball. Obviously, we want to come out and completely do the opposite of what we did last weekend against the Cowboys and rectify that entire situation. But we're going to be a little light in the linebacker department.
Yes. Yeah, we will.
So what's going on with that?
Trevor Wallace is out. He just came out likely to undergo surgery on his shoulder, I believe is labrum. So, that was already a backup, and we saw what our third strings did against the Cowboys. So, I would like to say this is a winnable game. But like you said, I think the Cardinals are very motivated right now coming into our place, and they have good offense. It's there. Especially, kind of our weaknesses right now with James Conner running and then Trey McBride at the tight end spot, who's going to guard McBride right now. So, I don't know. I think it's going to be a lopsided game, unfortunately.
Well, you know what that means. Good draft pick, baby.
Hey, I'm fine. Like, we've talked about this before, but I'm fine with that. Like, at this point, I think this is the last game. I want to win this one, and then we can lose out.
Yeah, it'd be nice to win the last one at home.
Yeah, exactly. And this is probably the most realistic, winnable game that we have left. Buccaneers after this. So
you don't think we can beat Michael Penix the last game of the year?
That's.
I have a feeling Michael Penix is going to go for about 350 and 4 tutties against us.
I think he might actually run the offense better than Kirk, if I'm going to be real.
Kirk O'Chains?
Yeah, I don't. That whole signing, the whole situation still doesn't make sense. Like, to talk about that and think about that it's going to take a long time. So, I don't know. This is the last winnable, the one I really want to get, but we're not looking too good defensively. Yeah. And then, I don't know. We'll see what Bryce Young can do because the Cardinals' defense isn't that stout, but I don't know how much we're really going to be able to stop Kyler Murray in that offense. I'm not saying they're elite, but
yeah, but the state of the defense is not looking good. This is probably going to be Marvin Harrison Jr.'s best game as a rookie. Like you said, no one's going to be able to cover Trey McBride out of that linebacking core. It's just going to be Josie Jewell, and he's still banged up, but he's giving it a go. Kyler Murray, I think, is probably going to run all over the field on us, escape a lot of pressures. Ajero's got his work cut out for him, plain and simple. Hopefully Canales has a good game plan coming up for the offense. I think we're going to have to score some points to be in this game. And I just want to see Bryce bounce back. That's the main thing for me watching this game is you didn't have a great game last week. That's okay. Every week's not going to be a great game. Show me the mental strength and the mental fortitude to bounce back. I know you've got it. I know you have it in you. You've shown it since you come off the benching and come back. Just flush last week and go out and rock it. That's all I want to see.
No, like I said, this is a good defense to do that against. I think the Cowboys' defense is underrated, and I think they were banged up and they were a little bit more healthy for our matchup. So I think a lot of people forget that. They just think the Cowboys are having a shit year, which they are, but banged up on the defensive
Still
side.
got some really good players on that defensive side, like you said.
Exactly.
You've got some players.
I think it's a good defense for Bryce to have a little bounce back, and then not really strong defenses after that either. So hopefully he can just finish out strong. And I want to see more touchdowns than interceptions. That's my only ask. He's had 8 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Be positive for the rest of the year, and that's end on a good note. I'm good. Get a high draft pick.
That's right. That's right. I don't think that's too much to ask. I don't think it is. And you know what? I think Dave Canales. I think that's right. That is our Christmas wish list. Win the last game at home, be positive in the turnover margin, win the turnover battle, and just make sure your stats at the end of the year are plus touchdown minus turnover. That's all we want. Please, Bryce.
Yeah. Put that under
Please,
the
Dave.
tree for me.
That's right. I mean, look, I think Dave should be able to put together a pretty good game plan to score some points, so it's just going to be on execution. Like I said, if Bryce comes back and he's mentally tough and can get through this past week, just kind of a little dud, there's no reason that we shouldn't, at minimum, be in the game. If you're in the game against Philly, Tampa Bay, and the Chiefs, you should be in the game against the Cardinals.
Yep, 100%.
So we haven't really had any injuries on offense since those games have happened. Obviously, the defense is what it is. You're going to have to score points, like I said. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully we can watch it, or we'll just, watch the highlights afterwards.
Yep, the long highlights after.
Yeah, good grief. Well, I want to transition, man, because we kind of had a break last weekend, but we are officially now entering the first ever 12-team college football playoff. And that's exciting. I'm pretty fired up about it. I know we don't have any horses in the race, but I think it is going to be awesome. I really, really do. And we'll put this up here. That way we can talk about it. But here we go. Let's get into it a little bit. Let's do a little prediction. Little discussion here. Let's start with the 5-12 matchup. That's going to be in Austin, Texas versus Clemson.
I think that's my favorite part of this, by the way, is that these games
are home games.
Yes. I don't know. I think the energy and the stadiums are going to be
electric, baby.
Games. So I think that's the biggest thing that I was like, that first round is going to be nice just to see that atmosphere within a school. So
yeah,
dude, that's gonna be a good matchup. I think Clemson's starting to figure out their identity last couple weeks, but I think Texas is too much. Has Ewers announced if he's playing or not? Is he playing this game?
I haven't heard anything otherwise that he's not.
I've
heard all the rumors about the foregoing the draft, and there's some Big Ten team that's offered him like $10 million in NIL to transfer. It's all BS until proven otherwise. But I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like this is the biggest in the first round, the biggest upset potential for me. Truthfully. Like you said, Clemson's coming into their own. Dabo Swinney, as much as I am not a fan, still just has those games and keeps Clemson in these games. I know it's at Texas. Clemson's defense has been playing phenomenal. What's the quarterback's name for Clemson? Why can't I think of it? For some reason, I want to say Kubiak, the old Texans coach.
Something like that.
I don't know why. I don't know why I want to say that so bad. Look that up for me while I say this. But I don't know, man. I think Quinn Ewers has not been playing well as of late. Klubnik. I was pretty close. But, man, if Clemson's defense can disrupt that Texas offense, if they can have a Georgia-like performance on the defensive side of the ball, anything can happen. There's a lot of pressure on Texas, dude, because you look at the way it plays out for them, and if they can beat Clemson and go in and play Arizona State, you would think they'd be pretty heavily favored over the Sun Devils. So there's a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure on Sark and the boys down there in old Tejas. So we'll see. That's my prediction. I'm not saying I'm putting some money on it in any bets, but if there's one game that has the major upset potential, I think it's that one in the first round sure.
Yeah, as far as major goes, I'm also looking at, dude, Ohio State. I'm just not on Day as a coach.
Yeah.
I know that's an 8-9 matchup, but
You think Tennessee, if they win, they plant the flag and everybody goes to jail?
I hope so.
Yeah, because you saw that lawmaker in Ohio was trying to pass that. How soft can you be as a fan base?
Yeah, right. Well, their feelings got hurt for sure. So,
Big time.
and I think their feelings might get hurt again.
I would have to agree with you. So hold on. Let's do this before we jump.
Yep.
Official prediction on the Clemson Texas game.
Texas.
Texas.
I think the offense is too much.
Okay. I'm going hot take. I'm going Clemson.
No, I don't even think it's that much of a hot take. Like, yeah, it's a 12-5 matchup, but like I said, like Clemson's really, you can see it. They're starting to be a Clemson team.
Yeah.
So early in the year, I would have never said that they could even step the same field as Texas, but I think they're starting to figure it out, and I think Klubnik is starting to figure out the system Dabo wants to run too.
I think the biggest X factor for Clemson is going to be the health of Phil Maffa, the running back, because he's been pretty banged up. But he's a hard runner, big guy to bring down. If your defense plays stout and you can run the rock on Texas.
Yeah, I mean Texas defense isn't that good.
They got some.
Poor. They have some guys, but
they've got some guys, but they haven't put it together. They haven't put it together. So I'm locking it in. I'm going Clemson. I'm locking it in. So we'll see. Now let's move on to a little bit in the old Buckeye State here. Tennessee Volunteers, Ohio State, TJ, however you want to say it.
Good luck.
Yeah. Mr. Ayamala Eva. No disrespect, sir. You're a phenomenal player. I'm just a country guy that can't talk, apparently. Ohio State's the $20 million NIL roster against a really well-coached, really talented Tennessee team. I think the coaching is going to put it over the top here, and I'm going Volunteers.
Yep. I'm 100% with you. Like I said, not sold on Day as a coach. I wouldn't be surprised if they lose this game. He's out very shortly after, if I'm going to be honest. I mean, you got to win. We've talked about this with State Carolina. You got to win those rivalry games, and then you got to go find your way to a bowl game and win it. Especially with a college like Ohio State, like you said, $20 million invested is a big investment to be dropping in the first round of this first year of the 12-man. So, I'm Volunteers here. I think I'm whatever the quarterback is back from that injury a couple weeks ago, I think.
I think it's Ia Maliava. There we go.
Yeah,
TJ Ia Maliava. Let's go.
Record that and then
we'll just plug it. We'll just plug it every time we talk about him. We can do that. That'll work for me.
But no, I think he's the real deal, and I think like you said, the coaching is going to kind of show itself a little bit more in probably any of the other matchups, if I'm going to be honest.
Okay. All right. So we locked it. We locked in Tennessee. Let's move over to the in-state one. This is going to be a fun game to watch. Notre Dame against Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a fun game, boy.
That's going to be an interesting one. I think that's going to be a hard-nosed football game. For sure. So I don't know. It's interesting to see Indiana in there. I mean, that's not a football school that we're really going to be talking about a lot usually. But shoot, I don't know, man. That's probably the closest toss-up for me. I'm on the middle of the fence here with them. So if Indiana can step up, I think they can win it. But I'm going to go Notre Dame.
Well, so Marcus Freeman, Notre Dame head coach, just got a massive extension to continue coaching there. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I think it comes down to Riley Leonard at quarterback and up against Indiana's defense and what they can do. I mean, he's a tough quarterback to game plan against. He's a great runner. When he's on throwing the ball, he's on. That Notre Dame crowd is going to be absolutely rocking. Touchdown Jesus in the background is going to be shaking. But, yeah, I don't know. Indiana's kind of had one of those years. Obviously, they didn't play good against Ohio State. That was a pretty hype matchup earlier in the year in the regular season. But it's going to be interesting. I'm also going to lead toward Notre Dame just because I think they have the better talented roster. But, hey, if this college football playoff is anything like March Madness, there could be a little underdog magic in the air. We'll see. This is something we never experienced. Usually when we watch college football, we're just like, hey, this team's going to win. But there's a lot on the line now, a lot of different implications. So we'll see. But I'm leaning Notre Dame, so we'll end it there. But going to the other ACC team in the playoff, the SMU Mustangs at Beaver Stadium. that place is going to be insane. If, honest to God, if there is one college football, well, there's multiple stadiums I would love to go see a game at, but Penn State would be one of them. I'll never forget, my dad told me he went to a Penn State game one time, and he said he could not hear for like an hour and a half after leaving. I asked him if he was intoxicated. He said yes. I said that probably had something to do with it. But he told me it was the sound and the deafening noise. But, man, in that game, I'd love to see SMU put up a fight, and I think they definitely can. I just don't – I foresee Penn State's defense just clamping them down. And I think their offense is not super overpowering, but I think they will overpower SMU's defense. So I'm gonna go Nittany Lions.
No, I'm right there with you for sure. I think the defense is too good for SMU, and I don't think SMU's defense is good enough to completely stop Penn State. So especially again, this home field, like you got to remember, it's home field. We're not freaking in Hawaii. We're not in some place, a neutral site. Like you're going to their place, and any other time they would be probably favored even more than they are. So no, I'm Penn State for sure. Not even a question.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, that place is going to be absolutely rocking. If it's a night game too.
12.
Oh,
it's 12.
It's at 12. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. It's at 12. Are there any night games?
Yeah, Notre Dame, Indiana is at 8 tomorrow night, and then Tennessee, Ohio State is the 21st at 8.
Okay.
Cool. So those are the 2 night games.
Okay.
Texas, Clemson play at 4 on the 21st.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, we'll see. We got our predictions in there. We'll keep it going. We're pretty much locked in, except for the Texas Clemson game. But again, it's I think a lot of people would kind of have our thoughts on most of these games. Pretty split down the middle, but we'll see. I'm super fired up. I think it's gonna be awesome. I think it is going to be absolutely electric, like we already said, and really good for college football. So I know they're doing this format this year, and I believe next year after that. And, of course, all the big media pundits are already talking about, you need to change this, you need to do this. Guys, let's just enjoy it for a minute. I know it's your job to create content. This is not our job, but our hobby, and we love doing this, creating media content. But we can do it on a much more personal level, and we can dictate what the hell we want to talk about because we're not under contract by some big conglomerate. So, fellas, let's enjoy it. We love football. We love it. Let's just watch them boys go out there and play and see, let the chips fall where they may. Let's watch it. So it's gonna be good. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm gonna try and get all my chores and my errands and whatever I got to do done, so I can just sit back, relax, and watch some football.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to watch that game tomorrow night. So, yeah, I mean, I think my only gripe here with the college football, don't get mad at me now, but the bracket, how it is set up right now, I think they need to reseed after the first round. That only makes sense for the top 4 teams, in my opinion, to give them the best benefit. If we're going to say one gets the best matchup, then let's make sure they get the best matchup. Yeah. So I think that's my only kind of gripe there with that. But
I think that's a fair point.
Let's go watch some football.
I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. I only say that because I feel like there's always nitpicking that goes on when it's like, hey man, this is something that's never happened before. Let's just experience it and see how it plays out. And then at the end of the year, after we crown a champion, we can go, okay, this worked, this didn't. Let's change it whenever we can. Yeah, absolutely. I do think, when you look at Oregon and, you play the winner of Ohio State and Tennessee, that's pretty tough matchup any way you look at it, because obviously, like you said, the actual top 25 rankings are different, than the college football rankings, the college football playoff rankings. So it'd be interesting, man. It really will, but I'm fired up about it. We'll see.
Yeah, I think the only other thing too with this is the other bowl games are even more meaningless. It's just, I don't know, there's even less weight in those games. Yeah. Less players playing, especially all the transfer portal, all this stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Who was the college football team that was it Marshall? They opted out of their bowl game.
Did they?
Because they had too many transfers.
Yeah. Right.
Too many guys transferred out of the portal, and obviously it's a head coaching change, but you hate to see that because growing up, bowl games were awesome.
Yeah.
Like, especially for watching your teams in it, but bowl games were just fun. Like, seeing a team that, like a USC going up against, just some ACC team, whoever, Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I mean,
that you would
never see.
Yeah, matchups you never get to see. It's really fun to watch. And, I always enjoyed seeing whatever the brand advertiser, the ambassador of the bowl game was, what the gifts were for the teams. Like, that was always cool to me. Like, the Vizio Bowl, teams got TVs or whatever it was. It was always really cool. So I would hate to see – they got to figure out something to make those bowl games more meaningful. Yep. They got to figure out something. But yeah.
You could almost talk about it like an NIT, honestly. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like how college basketball does it. And I this is the first time I'm even thinking about this, to be honest with you. But like just a second tier to this to make, those top. Now you're talking about top 25, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I mean, look, there's a lot of options on the table. I like that.
Let's enjoy football.
Let's enjoy football. Look, I'm over here complaining and griping about this, and then we're over here like, well, we should change this and we should change that. Oh my goodness! All right, let's get out of here. Any final thoughts, man? Anything you want to say?
No. Just go enjoy some football. That's all.
That's what we want to say. Go enjoy some football.
But not just because you can't watch them here.
Yeah, you can't watch them here. Can't do that. So enjoy football. Keep climbing the ladder, ladies and gentlemen. For Noah Bornschreger, I'm Will Hunt, and this was another episode of the Down South Sports Podcast.